Mike, yesterday, Kash Patel, or the FBI, announced ongoing probes for Mr. Brennan and who else? What is the significance of this? And will we finally see justice for what this gang of criminals did against our country?
Well, Charlie, we've been talking about this on your show for many years, going back to the unprecedented, unlawful home raid on the office of former President Donald Trump to get back Crossfire Hurricane records. And we're finally opening the investigation to go after these bad actors who lied to the FISA courts. They made up the Russian collusion hoax with the Steele dossier. They lied to the FISA court that got illegal spy warrants, and they used this to take out President Trump, his presidential campaign in 2016. This is an ongoing criminal conspiracy. They continue to lie. They continue to cover up. And if this investigation goes where it should go, justice is definitely coming. There is evidence that the most senior Obama administration officials participated in Crossfire Hurricane, the biggest scandal in American history, where the Obama White House, including President Obama himself, according to the evidence, politicized and weaponized law enforcement and intel agencies to go after then candidate Donald Trump to take him out. And my theory has been for years that they did this because Hillary Clinton got caught with her illegal home server, not only with our nation's most classified secrets as the Secretary of State, but of the Clinton Foundation pay-for-play foreign bribery schemes. She's taken money into the Clinton Foundation to underwrite her lavish lifestyle for the Clintons. And in return, they may have been doing official acts when she was the Secretary of State. They made up the Russian collusion hoax because they were afraid this was going to come out before the 2016 election. And they didn't think that Trump was going to win. They thought they would run this Russian collusion hoax. They could say that when her Clinton Foundation pay for play foreign bribery scheme came out, they could say it was a Russian disinformation campaign, and you have to ignore it. And the intel agencies and the FBI and the Justice Department and the Obama White House were in on this. Look, this is the biggest scandal in American history. They politicized and weaponized law enforcement and intel agencies to take out a presidential candidate and a sitting president of the United States. They did a home raid on him after President Trump left office because he declassified Crossfire Hurricane, and they did the home raid to go get those documents. Justice is coming.
So Mike, two questions. Do the statute of limitations apply to a conspiracy charge, and how do we navigate the D.C. jury?
Yeah, it's an ongoing conspiracy, and the statute of limitations doesn't start ticking until the last overt act. People have to disavow the conspiracy. Otherwise, it is an ongoing criminal conspiracy, and you can charge for this ongoing criminal conspiracy. There may also be perjury involved that happened within the last 5 years. Maybe Clapper perjured himself, maybe, just maybe. And so this is very much, according to news reports, according to FoxNews.com, this is very much an active criminal probe and criminal investigation. And as I've said to these officials for years, you better lawyer up because justice is coming.
My friend Colin Plume from Noble Gold Investments just released his new book, Silver is the New Oil. And it says if you don't own silver yet, you're already behind. Colin says that as demand for technology, energy, and industry soars, silver's value is set to surge. The question is, are you ready to profit? This book reveals why silver is the most underrated asset today and how to invest before the world catches on. I've read Silver is the New Oil, and you should too. Get it now, available on Amazon. So the D.C. jury, I mean, is there a way that we can get this in Virginia? Is there a way that we can get this in another jurisdiction?
Well, remember that Mar-a-Lago is in the Southern District of Florida, and that was one of the overt acts in the criminal conspiracy, was when they raided Mar-a-Lago, the office of former president, to get back the Crossfire Hurricane records that President Trump declassified via executive order the day before he left office. That That was absolutely why they went into Mar-a-Lago. They didn't care about so-called classified records or espionage. The Office of Former President is allowed to have those. That's why Congress gives them federal funding for security clearances and SCIFs and staff. They're allowed. The president is allowed to see his presidential records under the Presidential Records Act, whether they're classified or not. And a presidential record is any document created or received by the president or his White House staff to advise them. And that's exactly what those Crossfire Hurricane records were. They were declassified presidential records that President Trump was allowed to have under the Presidential Records Act. And the Mar-a-Lago raid was to get back those records because Obama, Biden, Hillary, Clapper, Brennan, so many other Comey, so many other officials have their fingerprints on this. There is evidence. We pointed to this evidence where they greenlit the Crossfire Hurricane investigation in the Oval Office several days before President Trump was going to take office. This is, again, the biggest scandal in American history, and justice is coming. And it's going to come, 8 years later, but justice is coming.
1 minute remaining, Mike. What other indictments and investigations do you want to start seeing from the FBI and the Department of Justice? 1 minute remaining.
Well, I'd say this. I think the Senate needs to start confirming these U.S. attorneys because you can't open.
That's a big one. You're right. I learned that this weekend that we still have dozens of U.S. attorneys that are not filled in slots like Denver. I mean, we still have Biden holdovers that we're trying to get rid of. Mike, continue.
Yeah, Jason Redding Quinones is the the nominee for U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Florida. He got out of the Senate Judiciary Committee. He is sitting on the Senate floor. I don't understand why they won't file cloture and have 2 hours of debate and confirm Jason Redding Quinones immediately so we can get moving on this Crossfire Hurricane investigation.
I'm actually tweeting right now because you're right. The U.S. Senate needs to work weekends and confirm all of Trump's U.S. attorneys. This is ridiculous. I've heard this from 3 or 4 people. How many are there that the backlog do we know of?
There's a ton. I don't think we've confirmed any U.S. attorneys. And here's the problem: law resistance cannot resist long weekends. And so if these Senate Democrats want to block these U.S. attorneys, make them work past 2 p.m. on Thursday.
Exactly.
It's amazing how many people you can confirm by merely threatening to make.
No, you don't understand. No, you don't understand. No, you don't understand. Lindsey Graham needs to leave every Tuesday at 2 p.m. He's the worst, by the way. He's like the worst offender. I've done all the research on this. Lindsey Graham, every Thursday, he's like, I'm out. And all of a sudden they're like, well, Mr. Graham had to leave. So we'll be back on Tuesday. Just so you understand, we'll do Good Ranchers after the break. The scope of work for the U.S. Senate is they start working Tuesday afternoon and they stop working Thursday afternoon. It's literally 2 days. That's the life of a U.S. Senator. Mike Davis, thank you so much.